And we are live. Good morning, South Florida. Hello, world. I am Robert Henderson Jr., President, founder, CEO of the Henderson Financial Group, located here in Miami Lakes, Florida, where we do financial services, financial planning all over the world. Not just here in Florida, but all 50 states and outside of the 50 states. And joining me here, my brother from another mother, my man, my brother, the famous
No.
one and only living legend. Boy, I tell you, living legend, Mr. James T. Thomas. How you doing, my brother?
I'm wonderful, Rob. Now you can really say that because the foundation, I think the Living Legends Foundation ran an article out of California on the 11th, I think it was. So, and I thought when I saw it, I said, "This man that spoke this into existence."
That's right.
Hey, everybody can look. I think it's on Instagram and maybe on Facebook. I don't know. Any one of those platforms. It's the Living Legends Foundation out
Wow.
of California. And they were saluting Black History Month. And they decided what they were going to do was to, one of the features, I think they did mini markets about Black radio. And they went back, Rob, to 1990.
Oh,
And
man.
when Star Force 99, oh no, yeah, WEDR Star Force 99 became 99 Jams,
Yeah.
under the management of one Mr. Jerry Russian. And hey man, we started it was April
You named the
20.
name. You named it. You came with that name.
I came up with the name. Yeah, the
Yeah.
station was there. Well, I started on the station at 82, actually.
You did? In
Yeah,
82?
1982.
I remember it was called Star Force. I remember
Star
that.
Force, yeah, Star Force 99, WEDR became 99 Jams on April 22nd of 1990. And Rob, what you're going to be talking about today is what people must recognize. One thing that they must recognize, and I've been doing a deep study on this, is recognizing our authority. You know,
Yes.
we
Yes.
we Rob, we just think that we are to pray and beg, but if you really recognize who you are, as a matter of fact, I was texting with one of my friends, Howard Hewitt. He said he's coming into town today, by the way. But the message was by Miles Monroe. But going back to the point that I was going to make, it was most people wouldn't spend 8 years to get the opportunity. When you spend a lifetime and sometimes never get the opportunity because you never take the authority.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
think about, Rob, you often talk about 20, 21 years ago, whatever, and we can go back 37, 38 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
We couldn't see where we are now. There was no,
No.
but obviously it was there waiting for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Isn't that something? Isn't
Absolutely.
that so? So if all of that we have seen was always there before we saw it, we can't imagine what's ahead.
And what we can't see. That's already.
Ooh, that's waiting for us.
My classmate, it's Antonio's mother, Annie Edwards, says, "Good morning, watching Happy Valentine's Weekend." Yes, Happy
Oh,
Valentine's Weekend, everybody, right? Hey,
okay, for those who
James.
celebrate.
Hey, James, you're right. There's so much here and so much opportunities,
Ooh,
but we only rely on our mortal eyes, and your mortal eyes are limited. You got to rely on that third eye, that universal eye. And before anything, and before you allow to see it, you got to first believe it and imagine it. And as you imagine it, it comes to fruition. Now I know that's the kind of whoo. I mean, if Linda was here, she'd be like, whoo, but it that and I want to say a secret, but it's not a secret. And I wanted to talk last week. So this week, my sermon is going to be on creating multiple streams of income and cash flow. And James, it starts with what you're saying. You must let yourself know that you have the authority.
You have the
You
authority.
have the right
And I can't take the thing on that. Dr. Miles Monroe. And when I was texting with Howard, he said, "Man, I love Dr. Miles Monroe. Dr. Miles Monroe has a message that he teaches. Look him up. I forget what the message is, but he talks about our understanding, quote unquote, that we have authority and we should be exercising that authority, Rob, based on law. Ooh, based on kingdom law. I'm through. That's my sermon for today. So go ahead, Rob.
You
Hey,
say
more
based on law. You got to break that down.
based on based on law. There's
what,
law.
what does that mean? Like Linda
Okay.
say, what does that mean based on law? What does
Well,
that mean?
Rob, we know that we have been given laws. For those, hey, every country has a law. Every kingdom has laws. And if we follow the King of Kingdom, he who created heaven, then created earth, and then asked us to come on this land to be occupants or inhabitants, however you want to put it, of this land, and to expand the kingdom, there are certain laws, Rob. But what I've done and you've done, what we've all done, we've been praying and asking God or whomever you want to call it to do this for me. And he's saying, wait a minute, I gave you authority. If you would come to me under your authority based on the law, it's done.
Yes.
It's done, Rob. It's done. Oh man, this is for me. It's awesome. So I'm on a high.
Yeah, I know. So today, and I like when you say, we all need to know the authority that we were born with
and operate under.
We need to.
We were given the authority.
Right.
That was the two things man was given when he came was dominion and territory. He lost it, came back. Okay, there was the return of. If you want to believe what we believe, there was the return of Christ. He said, "I'm coming back to give you what you lost." Hey, I'm going to give you this dominion. I'm going to give you territory. And the government is on my shoulder. Now choose which government that you're going to operate under and what laws you're going to operate by. And if you would exercise your authority under those laws, it must happen for you. Come on, Rob, there's no way I could have dreamt that we would be where we are now.
Okay, yeah, you're pretty deep too, man. You're pretty deep. This is what he's saying, y'all. Okay, so this is what had happened. All right, I would say 95% of us, if you still got a pulse and you're living and you're breathing, what happened was we were told to go to school, get an education, get a good job. Some of us got married or not, have kids or not, buy a house, a car, and work 20, 30, 40 years and retire and die. And 95% of the people, I said, that was the path. That was the path that most people took, because that's what we were programmed to believe. So when you're programmed to believe that, when you in your mother womb, and then you come out and you say, okay, you go to first grade or elementary, whatever, and they teach us all the same thing, ABCs and, Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, or they teach us everything, how the math and the basics and stuff, and the basic science and stuff. And that's what most of us know. And then they have the TVs and the media to tell us what to believe and what to think. And then they give us books, whether it was wrong or right, whether it's truth doing it, but that's what we believe and that's what we program and that's what it is. So that system worked for a while. And as time go on, the truth always reveals itself. And as the truth reveals itself, when you find yourself doing that, but you're still unhappy and you're still not fulfilled, that's because that is not a universal law system. That is man's system. Someone created that system. And someone who created that system and told us what to do, like James he's saying, you're not taking authority. You're not being all you could be. You're not being all you could be. You're just doing what you're told, and you believe in what they tell you to believe. And something inside of us, the Creator put in each and every one of us, the spirit of life and truth. A lot of us know that what we've been told, it doesn't sit well with us. So some people go and get high and get drunk and try to just go into another world, another dimension, and just try to phase out, because the lie that we've been told and what we've been doing, it doesn't work for them, because we are creators, because we've been created. So a lot of people are very unhappy, and the people who created them, that system, they have you working and working, never ever reaching the point where you can actually benefit and be all you could be. And anytime you're at a point where you're not really being all you could be, then there's an itch inside of you that has not been scratched. In other words, it's a thirst that has not been fulfilled. And a lot of people get depressed, and a lot of people commit suicide, or a lot of people just unhappy, a lot of people do criminal things, and then you have the fast money people that just want to get rich quick. But today, that is what happened, and that still consumes a lot of people. How you break free from that, if you still have a pulse, it's not too late. I don't care if you're 85 or 90 years old, you still have authority to create, and you can think. And thinking is the hardest thing for most people to do. But as long as you have a clear mind and imagination, you can think and you can do and you can serve. When you can't serve anymore, then usually you die. You're no good anymore. Now, I'm saying that since it's the financial planning show, an investment show, I'm saying that you will be more who you really are when you start using the authority that God has given you, and that is to think. And thinking while you're on this planet, they hold a lot of people in bondage economically and financially. People can't afford, people can't live where they want to live, people can't go get good hospital treatment, they can afford it, and it all comes down to that old dollar and money. So how do you change that? Well, one, anytime you just have one stream of income, in a sense, you are at the mercy of the system, the boss, the management, whether they merge or go out of business or whatever. You're starting off on the wrong foot, and I want you to share this with your loved ones, the young ones too. But even if you're 50, 60 years old, you still can create and dream. James C and I are constantly working on stuff that, man, we was working on the stuff and we didn't know we was working on it. The Creator put us in place to do some stuff, and we didn't even know we was going to be doing it, but it came. And James always had that spark about being all and never having a job and being all you could be until, he's fulfilling it. And I've had it. So he know we was like-minded. We had the same father. So I agreed. I never challenged him. I said, okay, if you say, let's do it, let's do it. You know what I mean? Because you got to know when you got to know. So my sermon today is creating multiple streams of income. And now to do that, you have to do something that most people don't do. You have to think. Now, thinking, all you got to do is serve. It's amazing how creating more income is in a line and attached to serving. Isn't that something, James?
Meeting a need. People have needs.
Yes.
We have needs. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Rob. I don't want to interrupt.
Isn't that amazing how creating multiple stream of income, the first rule is, if you want that, first you got to give. First you got to serve. First you got to help somebody. Isn't that something? And then it comes back to you. First you got to give somebody what they need or what they want or what they can use, whether it's advice, whether it's a thing, whether it's a that, whether it's this, whether it's whatever, whether it's helping a lady cross the street, whether it's whatever it is, washing a car, plaiting hair, whatever it is, telling someone how to do something better. But it is serving, and you can create, and all of us can serve. So there's no limit on age.
But Rob, may I insert? Quick insert. Yeah. We were created with a giftedness. Most people don't seek what do I love and what am I good at? And then what is my ask yourself, why am I here? What's my purpose? I mean, hey, that should be your first job. Finding out why you're here, what's your purpose, and what am I created to do? Oh, hey, everything else will fall in place as you seek that.
Yes.
Continue,
Yes.
Mr. Henderson.
So creating multiple streams of income. See, when you go get a job for the state or the county or the city, or the federal government, that's okay. That's fine. And that's okay. To have a 9-to-5 job, that is okay. But you don't supposed to close your windows, your eyes, your thought process. You don't supposed to do that. When you do that, you're missing the mark. You can do that because we all have. Every entrepreneur that you know started off in the system working, because you it's like being on training wheels. It's like a baby has to crawl before they learn how to walk. I mean, it's the same symbolic system. I mean, you don't just come out of the womb running. You have to learn. You have to grow. You have to see. You have to watch. You have to pay attention. That's what you have to do. So creating a stream of income, I don't care what it is, you got to think about what you like to do and how you can help somebody, because everybody needs help somewhere. If you can help me, God, please. I'm a type of person, Robert Henderson Jr., if you can help me, I don't care if you got an eye in the middle of your forehead. If you got something that I could use and you can help me, I got you. That's the person. Listen, yesterday we in the conference room, I came across, because the creator knows in terms of I'm always looking for more and better. And it came across this system that's an answer to a lot of to a lot of hangups, and it does it instantly. And all of a sudden, this company, I got it, and I had everybody go in the conference room, and this company was basically saying, okay, when people need life insurance, but the thing is, they got to qualify. It takes so long. Now they got a system here where AI approves them in 5 seconds. And if it don't approve them in 5 seconds, because it can look at all your medical stuff, AI, one of the things is it can look at all the information out there, and it can say, okay, this person's approved. If you're not approved, it's gonna take 3 days to approve you, but no more, a month or 2 months and all this kind of stuff, But that right there, I need that. And then it does a whole. So in other words, that was service. That was service.
So that you could serve. Better serve.
So you can serve. Amazon make so much money because they are serving. You're buying, it says trade-off, but they're serving. There's something that you say, oh, this is a better mousetrap. So all you got to do is think about what people need, what you need, what is missing. You don't have to, you just think about what's the problem. And it's a problem in every industry. Every industry can be better. Isn't it, James? Every industry can be better.
You just, before we went on, you just said, hey, James, this is what we can do. And you said, can we do, boom. Hey, it's done.
That's right. That's right.
Isn't that awesome, Rob?
Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome. That's something can be there waiting for you. Hey, my whole prayer thing this morning was, hey, I want to exercise my authority. Yes, you can think it, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. But the next thing you should do is speak it according to the law. You promised me that you would do this.
That's right. It's a promise. So when you don't create and think how to serve and create multiple streams of income, the system got you. You become a psychologically financial slave. And then they tell you, here's a credit card at 29%. And you and that's usury. That really is. And then there's something called income creep. When you get a job and you're making $50,000 a year and you spend all $50,000. So now you want to now
$50,000 plus, Rob.
Yeah.
You spend all the money and you got that 29% credit card that you probably ran up at least 20-30% of what you earned, or what you thought you were earning, by the way.
Yeah. Yes. And then you say, okay, Lord, you pray, you want to go ahead and you pray and pray. Some of y'all go get a second job and you make $20,000 more, now your whole lifestyle and your standard of living go to $70,000. You spend all the money. You have got to have what they call a gap. If you make $50,000 a year, you should be living off $30,000 or $40,000. That $10,000 is yours to plant a seed for a harvest. And see, they didn't teach us that. You always got to have some, even a squirrel. I keep using that. Y'all know that's my favorite analogy. A squirrel don't eat all this nuts. A squirrel eats some nuts, but they save some nuts from the cold blister when winter comes. They won't be out there in that snow trying to find nuts, and the grizzly bear eating them. So metaphorically, that is, you have always got to save some for yourself and invest it, so later on it will grow and give you shelter, give you cash flow. That's why a lot of people choose real estate. Some people say, I don't want to own no property. But let me tell you something. Even though right now, everybody say real estate is high. I'm going to take you back in the time because I need to demonstrate this to you. In 1980, buying real estate was high. It was high. It was extremely high. There's never been a time where doing good was easy. There's never been a time ever, whatever time period it was, there's never been a time as the right time. So my whole point is, you got to do it now.
Now, NOW.
Because even though right now you say real estate and owning property is high, what do you think it's going to be 10 years from now? What do you think it's going to be 20 years from now? See, right now we can go back and say you could buy a car for $1,500, a brand new car. Yeah, you could. But you can't do that now. I can go back and say when I was 21 years old, I bought a brand new duplex, 3 bedrooms, 13131, brand new for $70,000. Brand new. I can't say that now. I'm not 21. Time went on. This is how the system works. You have got to plant a seed. You have got to have income. You got to put that money away. You can't continue to just gobble it up and consume every dollar you get. I don't care if you're on Social Security. There's a lot of people on Social Security. There's a lot of people who didn't make the big time salaries, who didn't make all the money, but they're more wealthier than a retired NFL player or athlete because that person spent all their money. If you take and invest your money wisely, I promise you, it will grow and prosper for you. But you gotta not just have one income and depending on Big Daddy, a Big Mama, a Big Papa, because they can cut you. And when you cut, then what are you gonna do? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's called multiple streams of income. And there's so many ways to make it now. It's so many ways. All you got to do is think. You got to use the computer. You got to ask questions. You can ask AI. You can say, listen, I am a 70-year-old man. I retired doing this. How can I serve people? And what are some of the needs that I can make money with? It'll tell you. I'm telling you, it'll tell you. You can ask so many questions. Most people have not because they ask not. And that's in scripture. Isn't it, James? You got to ask, seek, and knock. And that is a rule. That is a law. That ain't a rule. That is a law. And universal laws, not man laws. Because man law, they changing whoever is in administration, they change the law. That's not really a law. Universal law never change.
They make rules. They take rules and make them laws. But he who created, no. Those are the real laws. So you can give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, but know who the real king is.
You create cash flow. So now you have to create multiple streams of income. The other one is when you do have money, so many people, there's trillions and trillions of dollars sitting in banks. I should take that back. It's not sitting in banks. You made a loan to the bank. When you made a loan to the bank took that money and they're multiplying it. They're making a lot of income off of it. They tricked us and told us when we was younger to save our money in banks. Banks don't look at it like that. Banks borrow your money. That's why they pay you interest, and they pay you a little bit of interest. You can, any bank, I don't care if it's Wells Fargo, I don't care if it's Bank of America, I don't care if it's Chase, I don't care what bank it is. If you buy ownership in the bank, if you buy 1 share, 2 shares, whatever, if you got $10,000, if you buy $10,000 of ownership instead of putting the money and giving it to the bank to say, save this for me. But if you say, listen, I want to be part, I want what y'all, I want to get what y'all get. I want to get what y'all getting. And I ain't want to do no banking. I ain't coming here, but I want to own part of this bank. Now you buy shares in the bank. You take 10,000, 5,000, 2,000. Instead of putting it in the bank, you say, I want to buy bank shares. They're going to pay you 5% dividends. They pay you that on top of what you put in the bank. So if you put $10,000 in the bank, they're going to pay you 5 or 6%. Not interest, but dividends, meaning that you're part of them then. Now you are part of the system and you are ripping people off. You're owning now. You're not the one that's begging or lending money. You're receiving the money and you are making more money off of the deposits.
Robert, isn't that strange that you would say that rather than having people say, oh, I'm gonna put money in the bank to save the money, to take that money and quote unquote invest in the bank. And when you compare what you're going to get annually from the bank by putting it in as a deposit,
isn't that something?
multiples of what you would get by depositing that money in the bank, you could earn in dividends.
Isn't that something? If you put $100,000 in the bank, you'll be lucky that you'll get $500 for the whole year out of $100,000. But if you say, no, I want to take this $100,000, I want to buy the shares of the bank, they're going to give you $6,000. They're going to give you $500 a month. And on top of your money. Simple as that. But they haven't taught the good people that. But you know, that's why I said if Jesus came back, they'll burn him. They'll put him on the cross and burn him because they'll say, what you talking about, Jesus? You're going to mess up our system. Jesus would say, whoa, you Pharisees, keepers of the law. You keepers of the law. You you really do my people so bad and you keep them in the darkness and you use them. That's why they don't care nothing about no God or no Jesus coming back because they messed up their money. But I'm trying to tell you guys is you have to think. When you listen, there are a lot of people that buy investments and get dividends. A dividend is ownership of a business. You get dividends. Dividends is ownership of the business. I give you a perfect example. If you go out and buy a rental property, let's say you paid $400,000 for the rental property and the tenants pay you $3,000 a month. That ain't no interest. They call it rent, but symbolically it's a dividend because as long as they're in there, they got to pay you every month a gain. It's not interest because the tenant ain't borrowing nothing from you. You own the property and you collecting rent, i.e. dividends. You know, they have something about friends with dividends.
Okay.
Let me think about that. Dividends.
Okay.
Getting dividends meaning that what are you receiving? What are you? Interest mean you on the hook. You either lent somebody some money or somebody lent you some money. I would say 95% of the people are on the hook. They borrowed from somebody and they charging them interest. Them credit cards, one thing, I don't care what happens in interest rate. You can drop them all you want to. They can drop interest rates all they want to, but one thing they ain't dropping is the interest on them credit cards. They're not dropping them. They're not dropping. And people keep charging and borrowing.
And Rob, if someone took pen, well, they won't do pen and paper anymore, but if someone took their calculator and said, that thing that I bought on a discount, when they really find out what they paid for it over quote unquote 6 months, I never would have paid that for that. You never, you have. Yeah, because that, ooh, it's, I, again, going back to what you said, Rob, we don't start with our thinking and our speaking.
No.
Our thinking and our asking, seeking, and our knocking.
I'm gonna tell you another one how they Jedi mind 95% of the general public about these mortgage rates. These mortgage rates. I want y'all to think about this for a minute, and y'all can do it from home. When people say, listen, I want to refinance or I want to buy a house, but right now it's 6%. I want to wait until it goes down to 3%. When you, whether it's 3% or whether it's 6%, you don't really start paying that 3% or that 6% until at the 28th or 29th year of owning that property. I want to say this again. I know when they tell you, man, I got a good interest rate, 2.5% or 3%. It was during the pandemic. So I don't want to sell this house because the interest rate's so low. Let me tell you something. You really don't start paying that interest rate until the end of the loan, because the first part of it, when you borrow money, you paying interest first. You paying interest first. I'll give you anybody. I want y'all to look at next time. I want you to look at your principal and interest on your mortgage. Let's just say if your mortgage payment for your home is $2,500 a month.
Check out what goes to principal.
Check out what goes to principal and check out how much goes to interest. And it ain't gonna be no 5%, no 6%. It ain't gonna be 10%. It ain't gonna be 20% that go to principal. Ain't gonna. It's gonna be more than 70% of it going to interest. Think about that. So if your payment is $2,000, hell, $1,500 or more going to interest. That don't sound like no 6%. That don't sound like no 10%. That sound like that. I mean, if it's $2,000 and 50% is going toward your principal to pay off the loan, and the other 50% is going toward paying off the interest, at least that's 50% of your payments going toward paying off the debt. No, $1,000 on $2,000 mortgage, $1,000 not going. Because think about that. If you think about that, that means $1,000 a month going towards your mortgage payment. That means that's $12,000 a year. That means in 10 years, you done paid off $120,000 off your principal. They ain't gonna never let that happen. That's why when you buy a property, you wind up paying 3 times is what you purchase for the property. But they fooled us on this interest of 3% or 4% or 5% or 6% and all that. I'm gonna tell you what they didn't fool us on. I'm gonna tell you what they really fooled us on also. Time value of money. That house that you could have bought in the year 2000, now it's 26 years later. It don't cost the same. That house that you could have bought for $200,000 in the year 2000, that house now is worth $800,000. Damn the interest. They don't teach us that. So the system is set up really to keep you down. The only way that you can break away from this system is you got to think. And you have to use your authority. You don't have to work 9 to 5 for the man. That's not all that you deserve. You know you deserve more than that. So if you're going to work for the man 9 to 5, that's good. That's guaranteed money. Just show up on time, do what you got to do. But then the other 8 hours, you got to do something. That's your time. And if you don't, that's why you're in a jam. If you don't, that's why you are in a jam. Because if you got 8 hours, there's another 8 hours, and there's another 8 hours. If you're going to do 8 hours to the man, you're going to do 8 hours to sleep. What you doing the other 8 hours? That's the problem. Most people are watching, being spectators, and that's the problem. If you really want to be, it takes at least 15 to 20 years to build wealth. I want to say it again. Stop all this get rich quick schemes that y'all looking for. Somebody telling you you can get some from nothing, buy gold, or buy all this kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. If you don't have a plan for at least 15 to 20 years, they fooling you. If you get a plan and they say that it's going to come to fruition and you'll be okay, it's going to take 15 and 20 years. Listen, every annuity, unless it's immediate annuity, start paying you an income, but for growth, every real estate, every stock, every mutual fund, ETF, every insurance growth plan, it's going to take minimum just to come out of the ground 10 years. And most people, James, can't stomach that TIME. That's why you lose, because you think that time is your enemy. But time is on your side if you know how to use it right. You can calculate the time. You got to understand this time. You cannot shape your life based on quick and a hurry, because you be quick and the dead. You gotta wealth is built by accumulation that takes time. Fine wine, marinated. If you eat beef, they say this beef has been aged. Cheese, aged. Ain't no quick cheese. The best cheese is aged. Best wine is aged. The best liquor is aged. Everything is aged. Best relationships, aged. You're gonna find you a wife tomorrow. You just met her last week. I don't know about that. How long you been with her? You know her. That's age. You know each other. You got to learn each other. You follow me? Hey, to be good at anything takes time. To be good at anything takes time. Look at the Olympics. Those people are so good with that skating and all that kind of stuff. Man, the guy say he practiced 6 hours a day out of 8 hours. Anybody practicing something 6 hours a day? No, your craft. This is why we in financial trouble. But I'm telling you, it's still time. But don't push against TIME. Time is on your side, man. It's the greatest weapon that you can have, because while you is waiting and while you are cultivating and watering your garden and watering that seed, in 20 years, it's going to be a big tree. And they're going to say, how you did that? And they're going to be always 20 years behind because they didn't do it. You don't want to be a day late and dollar short. That's what happens. This is what they don't teach us. But I'm telling you, this is the answer. This is how I created wealth. I said, goodness gracious, man. They didn't tell us this. Now, I was just talking to a friend of mine, James, and he said, Henderson, how did you know all this? And you didn't have a father. I said, when I was 19 years old and I got a job at CBS Channel 4 as graphic artist. And I looked around and I was being I was taking it all in. I wasn't working at Burger King no more, or bagging groceries at the grocery store. That's the first professional job I had gotten. When I got there, I seen people, engineers, people doing the TV shows and news, and I seen all that going on. Professional people, writers, producers, directors. I seen all that, and they were really good at what they were doing. And then this guy named John, they fired John. I asked, why did they fire John? How long has John been working here? And they said, John had been working there 8 years. And I said, well, why did he get fired? And they said he was late. I said, he was late? They said, yeah. I said, well, how late? They said he kept being 10 minutes late. But was it 10 minutes late because of the show? No. What he did ain't had nothing to do with
production.
The show. Production.
And
producing. TV's one. They fired him because he was late. And they said because 10 minutes a day, that adds up. And they want him. But James, I was so young, James. I was like 19 years old, and I knew because I taught John had a wife and a kid in a car in a house. 10 minutes late, they fired him. James, that scared the hell out of me. I said, oh my God, just like that? He gone, no more job, no more check, because he was 10 minutes late. Oh my God, that scared me. Right then I said, oh Lord.
Sounds like a gospel song.
I said, oh Lord, this is how y'all grown-ups do it? I said, this is real life? Somebody can just be gone and just be fired and just know? I said, oh my God. And at the time I was 19, I didn't have no wife and children, a house or whatever, you know? I was still living home with mama. And I was like, whoa, this is the real world? I said, oh, I would faint if that happened to me. Because I know I'd be late. I said, I know I come 2-3 minutes late. You know what I mean? I said, oh Lord. Hey, Rob, where you been? I said, I stopped at I was in the bathroom. Punched the clock. I said, oh man, so it's about now. It's the politics. They looking to see who on time, who on late. I said, oh Lord. I said, I gotta have myself a second stream of income. That's what happened. I promise you, that's what happened. I saw that, and that's what happened. And I said, I don't never want that to happen to me. I said, because if I was like John and I had a wife and kids, a house, and a car note, and they'd have fired me, I would have glued myself to the chair. I would have said, no, I ain't going nowhere. Y'all can't fire me. I'll take all my income, how much grocery, everything. And I said, it's not my job, my company. So it scared me. I'm scared straight. I was 19 years old. I started studying another streams of income. I started studying real estate. While I was working at CBS, I started studying real estate to get another stream of income. And then I started doing graphic design t-shirts because I was a graphic artist, t-shirts. And then in the news, we had to put up the Dow Jones Industrial Average stock market. I said, what is that? It's because you get rich off buying shares in other companies. I said, other companies that you don't own, you can just put money in it. And as it go up, you can make money. Ooh, and they don't care if you black or white. They can't even see you. They don't know what color you is. You just a number. Oh, Lord. And James, I said, oh, my God. And I started putting some money inside of investments and stocks. And yeah, that's what happened. I'm telling you, that's what happened. So I kind of fell into creating other streams of income from fear of the system and what the system can do. From fear of the system. And so I started thinking and reading. Then I got into insurance. I mean, then I said, okay, how do you know? And listen, I did that, and then I was making other income. At the end of the year, they said I owe taxes. I said, how do I owe taxes? I'm hustling. And then I went unannounced to talk to a financial planner back then, a tall building downtown. And I went there unannounced. And I said, I want to talk to a financial planner because the tax man in the neighborhood say I owe $6,000 in taxes, and I'm hustling. Got a 9-to-5 job. I'm selling real estate. I'm selling t-shirts on the side with little jingles, all little stuff on them. I said, they say I owe $6,000. And the man said, well, you don't have to make that. You don't have to pay that. All you got to do is make an investment inside of cattle. I said, cattle? I don't know about no cow. I'm in Miami. He said, no. You don't have to know anything about a cattle. It's a system that if you invest $1,000 in the cattle in Oklahoma, you ain't never got to go there. Just sign the paperwork. You invest $1,000 and they give you $10,000 deduction off your income taxes. I said, get out of here. I said, hold on. Are you sure? The man said, yes. I say, people don't know about this. I would have been writing a $6,000 check to the IRS. That's what the tax man told me. Tax people don't know. I said, how y'all know when they don't know? So we studied this. I said, oh my God, how do I get more of this? How do I learn more about this? Because I plan on making some money. Because I ain't going to stop hustling and I ain't going to stop my other stream of income. How do I learn this? And he told me. And I was on. Then I tried to get my buddies and my friends to do it. And they're like, man, we ain't reading them books and taking no time doing that. I said, but that's where the answers is. You got to get with people who know. There's two worlds. And I was 19 years old. Can you believe that?
Yes,
and
I can.
Changed. Can you believe it, James?
Oh, yes, I can, Rob. Yes, I can believe that. When
And
my grandmother, when my grandmother told me, I'm gonna show you how to make money so you never have to beg that white man for a job. Whoa, Rob, third grade, Rob.
yeah. But
Third
James,
grade.
what amazes me is here today. You could tell people that it's two systems. Those that know and there's those that don't know. And there's a lot of people still don't want to know. That's what amazes me. You know, less than 15% of people have a financial planner as an advisor. Most people think that you got to have money. Hell, I have no money. Show me the way. I didn't have no money. I was hustling. I was trying. I didn't want to pay them taxes because I knew that wasn't right. So I asked. I wasn't rich. So people get it mixed up, man. They think that you got to have a whole lot of money in order to have a good financial planner. No, you're supposed to come so you could plan to have a lot of money, how to keep your money. And that's what people don't understand. How you doing, Jerome McMillan, my friend?
Rob, speaking of, I just saw going back to show how, quote unquote, that law works. I mentioned two names before we went on the air. I see the young man I mentioned to you. He's listening in Colombia.
You kidding me? Colombia?
Yes.
Wow.
One of the we will. Well, he's on there, but anyway. So good morning to you, Mister. Yeah, he the young. Prior to our going on, and we had a discussion about how we were going to handle some business, and I mentioned the two names, and one of the names just popped up. So I'm saying to those who are listening now and will listen in the future, truly operating in a giftedness because you do have a gift. You know, we all have it. That's we got here based on a purpose. Rob, you didn't know what your purpose was back then when you were 19, but through taking those steps and continuing to grow and continuing to ask, seek, knock, and to learn. Earlier when you were speaking about how the buying of a home, I taught a class. Well, I was teaching at the church, and one of the people I was studying at the time was John Avanzani. Yeah, but most people they want to get that, as you say, that fast money, that quick fix. Yeah, how do I get the money? But once you get the money, if you don't know how to have that money work for you so that it generates multiples of itself, as a seed does, then still, so you're standing there, you had to pay 9,000 or whatever, 6,000, and the gentleman
6,000.
said, no, you take 1,000, put it here, and now guess what? You're invested in something,
Right.
and you owe the government nothing.
Isn't that something?
Right.
Isn't that something? But you're talking about two different people in two different worlds. This guy, the financial planner guy, he was on the 30th floor on that tall building, suit and tie. The guy who did my taxes was in the neighborhood. Everybody went to him.
Mhm.
Now, I wasn't the only one that he told had to pay some taxes. I'm 19 years old. He told other people they had to pay taxes too. And they said, okay, he's a tax man. But he didn't know nothing. He only knew.
Wait, Rob. No, he knew something.
Okay, but he only knew a little bit. Listen, but think about this. Think about this, y'all. The people who make the rules and the law, do you think they poor people? Do you think they poor people, or you think they're people that make a lot of money? And they make a lot of money, therefore they write laws where they don't. If you use the laws that they've written and you know where to find them, you don't have to pay all them taxes. But if you just keep on doing what the system have you doing, you're going to pay a lot of taxes. But they go back to the scriptures. You got to ask, you got to seek, you got to knock. at 19 years old, I could have said, okay, man, you say you the man, you taxes. I don't know about taxes. You say I owe $6,000 because not from my W-2 job at Channel 4, because I hustled and did real estate and got a 1099. They didn't take out any taxes. And then I was selling t-shirts and things like that. And then I was doing little graphic designs, postcards and all that. And I hustled up so I could make more money than I was working on my fixed job. Do y'all know, after my hustle doing other stuff that wasn't guaranteed, I started making more money than my guaranteed Channel 4 job, and I left it. And people say, you gonna leave this nest of comfort? And I said, yeah, man. They're gonna give me 3% raise every year. I could calculate that. That's like welfare. I need to be all I could be. Ain't no telling what I could make. I was 19. I said, I want to travel the world. So that led me, that means I got to think. And listen, when I found out that I didn't have to pay them $6,000, man, that sparked my curiosity. I said, there's got to be more of this information
that I don't know.
But
I'm going to turn the pages.
Today, I'm still like that. Whatever I learn, I go, okay, there's more. I know there's more.
There's more, Rob.
There's more. And I'm telling you, when you have that mindset that there's more that you do not know, whoo, boy, a thought said, boy, you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen that. Listen, every year a voice come to me and say, oh, boy, you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm telling you, it says, boy, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just keep on following my rules and keeping my commandments.
Come on,
doing the right thing, serving people, love, open,
And Rob, you'll get it from people just as you met that gentleman the first time.
Yeah.
There's people with the knowledge that will openly, if you will ask, seek, and knock.
Oh man,
I do that all the time. Yeah, all the time. Rob, because I want to, and there are leaders in different areas of expertise. The Henderson Financial Group, Robert Henderson. He's not the only one, folks, on the staff. And he is connected with other people who specialize in what they do. Truly the networking. And I want, if at all possible, for people to share this, whatever you get from it, even if it's nothing. If you got nothing, just tell somebody, I want you to hear this because I missed it. Maybe you can help me. Maybe you can help me to get it. I heard them talking about, and you heard Robert go all the way back to 1980. Okay. Well, hey, 2026 is a 1980 for somebody listening to this today, or if it's next week. Valentine's Day could be the day that you decided that you were going to reach out to the Henderson Financial Group and find out what is it that you could do that would help you to create multiple sources of income and to increase your ability, not just to be blessed, but to be a blessing.
Yeah. When you said that, I thought about somebody I got coming into my office today. They called me and they said that they have $600,000 and they want to get the most out of it. And I said, do you want to take some risks? He said, no, I want to take no risk. I said, well, here's a strategy where you take the $600,000. I said, what do you want to get? She said, I want to get interest or dividends or whatever I can get out of it. I said, are you going to need to take some from the 600,000 and live off? She says, nope. I just want to keep it for accumulation. I said, okay, here's a company that you can put in the $600,000. It's insured. And by you putting the $600,000 there, they're going to give you $150,000 on top of it. She said, what? I said, so you got two choices. I could take the $600,000 and get you dividends. Would you rather get 7-8% off that? Or would you rather get 7 or 8% off 600,000 plus a bonus extra 150,000? They say, well, 150. They're gonna give me. Why would they give me 150,000? I said, because when you leave your money in there, they're gonna take and build buildings and do real estate or whatever. They're gonna secure your money. So now your 600,000 turns to 750,000. Now you're gonna get the interest off that. So it's better to get interest off a higher amount than a low amount, isn't it? She said, yes. She says, well, how long are they gonna pay me? I said, they'll pay you for the rest of your life. I said, you kidding me? And I said, it comes every month, guaranteed. I said, and it's insured. She said, I didn't know nothing about this. I said, yeah, I know. I ain't known about a lot of things when I was younger too. I'm telling you, it's out there. You just don't know. But you gotta at least, you owe it to yourself to take authority. Know that they doing something out there. I want all y'all to say, I know they doing something out there that I don't know. And that's wisdom. That's wisdom. Wisdom is knowing that there is something out here in the financial realm that a lot of people doing and been doing, and you ain't never heard of it. I promise you, I'm in the business. That's why I go to so many conferences across the country, out of the country, because they doing some stuff. I'm like, what? I've been doing this 30, 40 years. I ain't heard of this. They're like, well, we just started 6 years ago. Well, why y'all didn't tell me? Well, you got to come find out. It is amazing, James, how it's because they continue to evolve. New things evolve. New things grow. You know what I mean? It's just we don't have the beeper anymore. We have smartphones. And now they say, hey, this right here, looking like they said 10 years from now, this is gonna look like an old phone. They don't even have this no more.
Too big.
It's evolving. Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. Right?
Taking authority, James. You started. You saying we missed the mark because we don't know who we are. We're not thinking. We're fearful. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Dude called me yesterday. I was in the office, and he was blowing my ear up about the Epstein files. He was blowing oh my God. And I was multitasking, listening to him. He was telling me about, aliens and cannibals and all this kind of stuff. I was like, Lord have mercy, the Epstein file. Oh Lord, man, I gotta think about Robert Henderson. I know I ain't in the Epstein file, so I'm good, and I don't care who in it. But I gotta be. Listen, I gotta be me, myself, and I, and try to best me. I ain't got time to think about all this noise and chatter and diversion and taking you, make it depressed. I don't have time to do that, and you don't either, because you got to use your time wisely to take care of your health, your mind, body, and your soul. Watch what you eat. Watch what you're eating, because they're trying to kill us, right, Jay?
Well, I've been watching what I've been eating for a long time, bro. For a long time. And speaking of which, folks, please share. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and we are now closer than we've ever been to the big surprise that we said that we were going to have for the year of 2026. So stand by and keep listening. It's Saturday mornings when Rob is not out of town or out of country sometimes, or at a conference. Here, I'll never attempt to do this on my own. Hey, I'm just a co-host to the gentleman who has the plan, but he wants you, first of all, to make that commitment, and then secondly, to make the commitment to share. Speaking of, if you have nothing to give them this. Hey, you'd be surprised, who might, and we've got to get our young people on track, because they just believe that, hey, I earn it, and I want to look good, I want to feel good, and I want to impress people who don't even know who the heck I am. That's how many young people are living now. And they're not saying, I'm not going to live to be 50, 60, 70, 80 years of age. They're just saying, I want to live my life now. But all of a sudden, when 50, 60, and 70 come, and they look back over their lives, they're going to wish that they had chose Valentine's Day of 2026 to make a change in their life. What's that number, Rob?
305-825-1444. 305-825-1444. You can also go on the website at thehendersonfinancialgroup.com. thehendersonfinancialgroup.com. You got to put in the now. We are the Henderson Financial Group.com.
Now, Rob,
Mhm.
What we always talk about finances and all of that, but please share some of the other things that you feature in the Henderson Financial Group.
Well, we definitely help people with estate planning in terms of setting up living trust, um, power of attorneys, and healthcare directives. Um, we help people um, with business organizations, whether you want to form an LLC or C corp or S corp. We tell you the difference and why they have those different tax structures. They're for a reason. Um, and then we also have a division where we specialize in Medicare. Um, Medicare. Tony Antonio heads that up, and my daughter Tempest, Medicare and Social Security planning. That's really big because most people don't know when should they file for Social Security. Should they do it now at 62, or should they do it at 67 or 70 or whatever? And we'll work the numbers with you and show you, especially if you're married or not married, and how it benefits you. And we also have a real estate division. We do real estate acquisition all over the country, and we're licensed in different states to buy real estate for clients. And then Tavares is not only a stockbroker, investment advisor, but Tavares also specialized in insurance, and he does a lot of mortgages for our clients. Um, we do a lot of reverse mortgages or reverse purchases for our clients. Reverse purchase means that if you see a property, instead of having monthly payments, you put a certain amount down, and then you don't have no monthly payments. And so your cash flow is good, but you got to be at least 62 years old to get into that program. We do the first time home buyers program. We do um, tax planning, tax strategy. We partner up with with a number of accountants, enroll agents that know the tax strategies and tax laws that I was speaking about when I was 19. And we manage money. Um, we whether you want to buy Apple or Amazon or Home Depot, or whether we execute that for you. We do a lot of retirement planning. People that's nearing retirement or about to retire, we give them the options and tell them how you can um, get full benefits and best yourself, how to make your money grow and be of safety. We do that also. We do like the MRI. We look at every aspects of your financial life. We help people with budgets. Some people say, Rob, I'm making all this money, but I don't know where it's going. I don't have nothing to show. So we do a budget analysis, and we help people. And people really enjoy and they like it. And the way we talk to you, break it down to you like a 6-year-old. We don't intimidate you. I mean, I know sometimes I make fun on the show here, but when it comes down to your personal business, we're very, very serious. But we speak to you and talk to you and break it down to you in a way where you really understand it. We're in the belief changing world system. Our system, we are in the belief change. We're gonna change those false beliefs that you thought that you didn't have enough or you couldn't make it. We change that. We show you a different way to look at money, look at prosperity. That's what we do. We show you how money really works. What is compound interest, and we love that. We really love doing that. And then we help you in terms of life insurance, in terms of what type of life insurance is best for you, whether it's for your kid or college planning. We do that also, and we love it. That's why, like James said, this is our call and this is our mission. We are retired now because when you're doing something you love, you never work a day in your life. So this doesn't feel like work to us. It really doesn't feel like we just love it, man. People ask me when I'm going to retire. I say I am retired. I love doing what I'm doing. I'm doing my thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Rob, it's strange you say that. I had a gentleman ask me, we were talking, and I said, I haven't had a job since 1969. He said, what do you mean you haven't had a job? I said, I haven't had a job since 1969. Now, I've worked with companies. I've worked for companies. But hey, as a matter of fact, yeah, it was 1969. I never worked for just a salary.
Yeah.
Rob, never, and when I look back at, and the people have said, well, how'd you come up with that? Oh my! I said only person I can think of is my grandmama.
Grandma, right?
I
You look
mean,
at stuff differently. And you were even when you was at the radio station, you they
oh man,
gave
come
you they
on.
gave you peanuts, man. You made peanut butter.
And branded it.
And Brandon. Hey, Gwendolyn Chambers asked me how much is the session. Hey, come as you are. We're family. We're not going to charge you for a session. I want to see how I can help you. God, if you come to us, that means you were sent by, you listened. You listened to that small, still voice, and you wanted to find out some information. So we're not going to charge you, Gwen, to come and talk to us so we can find out how we can help you. We're not going to charge you, okay?
And Rob, I got to do this. Folks, there's a scam out there of people telling you if you want to set up your wills and your trust and stuff, that's on social platforms. And Rob, they're ripping people.
Oh, man.
Rob, as a matter of fact, I have a friend that's going to be getting in touch with the Henderson Financial Group. They're ripping people, and all of a sudden you go in and they say, well, you pay this amount, on your credit card, and then you'll pay the balance later, right? And when you look around, whatever the charge was originally, they've taken the whole thing. And now when you're calling, you're we're gonna get back with you. We're gonna get back with you, folks. Please, hey, the reason I'm here is because I've known Robert for whatever number of years. I think since say 1980 or before that, and we really do want to help you so that you can help others, help your family, and so that you can share the information that you get, and you can become, as they said, you can have a living testimony. I can share with you,
Yep.
that I have a testimony with Robert Henderson before it was ever. I don't even know if it was the Henderson Financial Group at that time, Rob. Back in the 80s, was it? Was that?
No, I
No.
didn't form the Henderson Financial Group until 1990. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, hey, that was the year we
Yeah.
went 99 jams.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
1980, hey, my first property, hey, I looked at the paper one day. I said, what was Robert doing inside it? Yeah, okay. But folks, trust. There's things out there that you don't know that can help you. And as you just heard him say, for a session, but now you have to make an appointment. This is not, hey, it's not like you
Right.
pull up to the McDonald's window and say, give me
Fast service, fast
whatever.
food.
Right. No. Hey, believe me.
Yeah.
But
You
it'll
schedule
be,
it.
yeah, schedule it. There'll be a scheduling. And, ask yourself, God, why am I here? What can I do? What am I good at? And people have told you what you're great at. You could be a good listener, or you could make. My grandmama made great potato pies and gingerbread cakes. Then I became the potato pie gingerbread cake boy, and then sugar cane, and all of a sudden, third grade, hey, I thought I was rich with money. I didn't even know how. I didn't know how you make money. Every
Perfect.
black person I knew worked for somebody else, and it didn't look like them. Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't had one example of a gentleman and his wife who, hey, they had their own business. And I'm saying, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you can own your own business while everybody else is jumping up, going doing 9 to 5 or whatever it is? Hey, we can do a lot more than we are doing, and that's even with us, and that's why we keep trying to do more.
That's right. That's right. So, like James says, what we've been telling you all about what James and I have been working on since last year. We almost ready, and we're gonna announce it to you guys so you guys can tune in and
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 participate.
and participate. Yeah. So, James, take us out with prayer, brother.
Wait. Since it's Valentine's Day for a lot of people, my brother John Davis says, join us in praying, Lord, teach us to love with patience and kindness. Remove pride, envy, and anger from our hearts. Help us forgive quickly, rejoice in truth, and endure through every challenge. Shape our lives by your unfailing love, a love that never gives up, never loses faith, and never ends. A love that never, ooh, yeah, are you in love with a love that never ends? Okay, may we reflect this love to everyone that we meet. And he brought this from, of course, First Corinthians. It says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it's not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Oh, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. So may God bless you and may you find love, not just today, but every day hereafter. In Jesus' name we pray.
Let the
Amen.
church say amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, y'all, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Be safe. Much love. Until we meet again next week, stay tuned, stay prayed up. Gotta go. Peace, love, and happiness.